The main intelligence directorate of Ukraine has claimed responsibility for explosions near Desantnaya Bay in Vladivostok region regularly used by Russia's Pacific Fleet on the morning of May 30th. Two powerful explosions affected the deployment site of Russia's 47th Separate Airborne Assault Battalion, part of the 155th Marine Brigade. There are also military unit warehouses nearby. One of the explosions struck a checkpoint, the second one hit the location of the personnel and command of the military unit, affecting manpower, military equipment, and special equipment. Earlier, the Primorsky Krai Anti-Terrorism Commission blamed the explosion in the bay on fire in one of the cars containing cylinders with a propane-butane mixture. Meanwhile, local residents wrote in social media that the road leading to the bay is guarded by military personnel and the free entry to the territory has been blocked. Residents also reported seeing several ambulances and evacuation helicopters at the scene of the incident. Authorities have imposed a counter-terrorist regime. According to Telegram channel reports, large, tarp-covered objects were seen being removed from the area under guard. It should be noted that last year, large landing ships of the Pacific Fleet conducted exercises in Desantnaya Bay. According to the Russian Defense Ministry report in February, the crew of the large landing Oslabia, together with units of the Marine Corps, conducted exercises on loading military equipment there. Yet another military drills, the Indra 2017 maneuvers were held there in 2017. Located near Russia's Pacific coast, Desantnaya Bay is not far from the borders with China and North Korea.
Что-то происходило, да, летит ДПС, за ним 3 машины скорых. Скорее всего, это вот та ситуация, происходившая на Шамаре. Ничего не понятно, но очень интересно.
The later Ukraine gets the opportunity to use long-range weapons of its allies against the Russian Federation, the worse the situation on the front will be. This was stated by a veteran of the Russian-Ukrainian War, Reserve Major of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, military analyst Alexei Getman on air at Kiev 24. According to him, if you don't hit the enemy, his aggression will only grow. The Russians, when they understand that they are not getting anything in return, they are not afraid. They continue to pull everything they can to the front line and attack more. And these permissions that are gradually coming in are a gradual understanding of what is happening when we cannot give retaliatory strikes, Getman noted. He is convinced that if this understanding had come in the first year of the war, and Ukraine had then received air defense systems, and permission to fire missiles at Russian military targets, and modern aircraft that could carry these weapons, then the front line would now be completely different, especially in the south. According to the military man, in particular, the Kerch Bridge could have been immediately destroyed, which would have significantly reduced the Russians' ability to provide for their southern group. The later the permissions for the use of weapons in the Russian Federation are issued, the more the Russians will be able to advance and the worse the situation on the front will be, Getman emphasized. As reported, the new German Chancellor Friedrich Merz stated yesterday that Berlin will support Ukraine in developing long-range weapons. Before this, he announced that Western partners had lifted restrictions on the range of weapons supplied to Kyiv for Ukraine. According to him, there are no longer any restrictions on weapons from Germany, Great Britain, France and the United States, so Ukraine can defend itself by attacking military positions deep into Russia. In Russia, these statements have caused hysteria, as evidenced by the reactions of the country's leadership and the so-called mouthpieces of power. In particular, the press secretary of Russian dictator Vladimir Putin, Dmitry Peskov, stated that the German chancellor's statements about long-range weapons are nothing other than further provocation of war. Russia has decided on yet another military provocation in the Baltic Sea. The Russian missile destroyer Vice Admiral Kulikov suddenly changed course and followed the German frigate Bavaria, pursuing it along the coast of Norway, writes Bild. The escort began following the completion of NATO exercises in the North Atlantic, in which the frigate participated along with the submarine U-33 and other Allied forces. At the same time, the Russian ships Severomorsk and Vice Admiral Kulikov left the Kola Bay to conduct anti-submarine defense maneuvers. However, after the exercises, Vice Admiral Kulikov abruptly changed course and began moving toward the German vessel, following it along the coast of Norway and further through the Baltic Sea. The incident has caused concern in Berlin. The German government's maritime coordinator, Christoph Ploss, told reporters that it was necessary to strengthen the defense of the port infrastructure. He said the incident clearly demonstrates that Germany must protect its ports as quickly as possible from the growing threat from Russia, including by strengthening security, investing in cybersecurity and upgrading bridges to allow heavy vehicles to pass through. Ploss noted that the German government is ready to provide all necessary investments. The destroyer Vice Admiral Kulikov is a 163-meter combat vessel armed with missiles, torpedoes, and anti-aircraft guns. The ship was built in 1981 and after a long modernization, it returned to service in 2010. Its main specialization is anti-submarine warfare. Bayern is a Brandenburg-class frigate. She was laid down in 1993 at the Nordseewerk shipyard in Emden and launched in June 1994. She was commissioned on June 15, 1996 and assigned to the 6th Frigate Flotilla. Following a reorganization of the naval structure, the ship was transferred to the 2nd Frigate Flotilla based in Wilhelmshaven. The frigate has participated in several overseas missions since her commissioning, including NATO's Operation Allied Force in Yugoslavia in 1999. Earlier, media reported that Germany, due to growing threats from the Russian Federation, created the first permanent tank brigade in the history of the Bundeswehr outside German territory. It will be based in Lithuania and will number about 5,000 servicemen. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius noted that the deployment of the unit demonstrates the determination to defend every inch of NATO territory. Lithuania, in turn, is strengthening its own defense by purchasing Leopard 2A8 tanks from Germany, the same ones that will be in service with the new brigade. This will ensure a high degree of compatibility and simplify coordination between the armies of the two countries.